Today's video is one of my very favorites. We break it out every Thanksgiving because it goes along with the pecan and the sweet potato, which are already posted. This is the third of my trilogy for Thanksgiving, coconut custard pie. And it was made every year at my grandmother's house, and that recipe was passed down to us. My sister has an actual handwritten recipe, and mine is copied off of that one. So I hope you truly enjoy it, and you will try it yourself because you can do this. I've laid out all the steps. Just follow 1, 2, 3, and listen for my tips now because they're important. Thanks. So I'm showing you what's usually a no-no. I'm going to pre-bake these pie shells not pricked for just about 4 or 5 minutes at 400 degrees. And I know you're saying, Michelle, why are you pre-baking that pie shell at 400 degrees for about 4 or 5 minutes? Well, filled pies, like pecan pie, coconut pie, even sweet potato pie sometimes, the pie crust doesn't get done on the bottom. And if you'll pre-bake it a little bit, and it might puff up, but if it does, we interrupt this nonsensical rambling to say it's easier to show you what to do. Watch this. And I just took them out, and if there's any puffy areas, lay a paper towel on it and take a small pot holder and just push it down. And all it is air bubbles. It'll come out. But we just want to get a little color on that pie crust before we add these wet things on top of it. It'll taste so much better. Now, we're going to cook with 2 eggs, 1 large can of pet evaporated milk. It's 12 ounces, and I've just poured it in here because I'm going to crack the eggs in there and beat them up in just a minute. We've got 1.5 cups of regular granulated sugar, 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and 1.5 cups of sweetened flaked coconut. And we're going to use 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. Let's get to mixing this up. I'm going to take a whisk and whisk the flour into the sugar. Mix that up really well. And with that very same whisk, because I'm going to be blending it in a minute, I'm going to take these 2 eggs and crack them into that milk and beat them so everything is smooth. But anyway, if you just break the egg yolks, you're going to add everything into this. And you just whisk it carefully to combine. And after the sugar gets wet, it'll whisk easier. And you whisk it for about a minute with a little brisk whisk. Okay, that's good. Now we're going to add 1.5 teaspoons. And trust me, I know this. That's 1, and that's 1/2. After a while, you just know. But you can measure it. It's 1.5 teaspoons of, what do I say? A very good, rich, pure Madagascar bourbon vanilla. I'm not going to stop saying that. So go over your list again. You got the eggs in here, the flour and the sugar, the vanilla and the milk. All we lack is the coconut. Okay. We're not going to use the whisk with the coconut. It will end up in the whisk. Trust me. Trust me. All right. This may be a little different and contrary compared to what you normally do. We're only going to add about half the coconut in that, and then the other half of the coconut in the actual pie shells. And we're just going to blend it. And I'm going to use the same rationale filling these pie shells because you don't want to get this on the edges of your pie shells. You want to make sure your pie shells are sitting on an even, level surface. And it makes 2 pies. And you don't want, it will rise up just a little bit. If you want to, you can add just a sprinkle more of the coconut on top. But I only add it after I get that stuff in there because I do not want to go over. And then you just press it down so that it gets in the filling and the egg mixture and combines. And it'll come up over it. All right, now we're going to put these in the oven at 400 for 20 minutes. And then we're going to back it down to 350 for 20 minutes. It's going to seem kind of wobbly. You be careful and take care trying not to spill it. But put it in the center of your oven, and we're going to come back and look at it in 20 minutes and turn it down to 350 from the 400 we're starting with. Here we go. Countdown is on. Okay, here we are. That is 20 minutes at 400. Now we're going to back it down to 350 and load it for another 20 minutes. Let's see what we got, folks. They look pretty good to me. They have that pretty light brown color. The crust looks great. If you happen to have spilled a little bit of the milk, some of the crust may have a few darker spots where it browns because of the milk. Let's get them out and see how they look outside the oven. Resist the urge to cut them before they're cool. Please, please cool them all the way, and then you can cut them. So we're going to cut one of these, okay? Just a small piece. And if you had any coconut pieces sticking up, they are going to probably be a little browner than the others. This is a spot where the milk got on the edge. And it's all good. This is what makes it homemade, y'all. It's not a commercial factory type thing. But the first piece is always interesting. Make sure you're cutting it at the center. Don't give me anxiety, y'all. I'm just going to cut a little sliver and taste it. My neighbors are going to be the beneficiaries of this pie. I told them I'd have one later, and it's later, but I bet they're going to get it in the morning. So it's just going to be missing this little piece right here that we're going to taste. And I'm going to show you something. Look at there. You see that crust is done? See those marks? That little extra time, 4 to 5 minutes at 400, makes a difference. And you got a crispy crust. It's dark out. This is what happened to me at late eating a piece of caramel cake one night. But it's not as late as that. That little sliver of coconut custard pie, yum, yum. This is so divine. It's the perfect balance of custard, sweetness, and coconut, and that delicious pie shell. You gotta try this. You can make it. It's easy. No problem. Go get the ingredients and do it. Thank you. Do me a favor. You subscribe if you're not, and get 2 more people to subscribe. I appreciate it. God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye. We got lots more coming this weekend. Make sure you hit that subscribe and bell and don't miss a thing. Take care.